So I hope everyone's doing well and welcome back to another video. So cool. Now I've had a crazy amount of questions very recently about the current prop firm situation, right? Now, most of you guys that watch my videos probably are prop firm traders or looking to become prop firm traders, and you've probably seen there's a lot going on in the space currently, right? The broker situation, the meta quote situation, and essentially everything is all over the place. Lots of people are confused. I keep getting the same questions, so I thought, why not? Let's make a video so everything is very streamlined and all the questions can get answered in one go. At least some of the most common questions, right? So I'll go through everything I can. I'm going to try not to go into too much detail because, like I said, this is for the traders. I just want to keep it simple. I want to explain the situation. I want to explain the solutions and what traders can do going forward. And, from there, it's essentially your choice to make the assessment on what the best decisions are for you as a trader. If there is anything I miss out, if you guys do have any questions, just drop them in the comments below and I'll make sure to answer all of them. Right? So cool. Let's get into it. So now, a lot of people trade, but they're not very clued up on how the back end essentially works, right? How do all the logistics and the technology, how do these things come together, right? When we have the prop firms, right, I've given you guys an example below. We have, for example, MyFundedFX, who then partner up with a broker or make a deal with them, i.e. Think Markets, right? And also with a trading platform such as MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5, right? They're made by a company called MetaQuotes. That is essentially how it works, right? You guys can see with the arrows I've represented, it goes back and forth. It's not just a sort of one-way thing. They may negotiate, they make deals and whatnot, and it's a fairly simple thing for the prop firms to do by outsourcing their technology, right? So for those of you guys that don't know what that means, that essentially means MyFundedFX, if they really wanted to, if they had the means to and the money to, and they thought it was a good decision, they could cut Think Markets out of this little chain, right, and go directly to MetaQuotes and use their own in-house brokerage, right, their in-house technology. They could make their own technology and provide that to the traders. Now, that is something that some current prop firms do, right? MFF did that, My Forex Funds, who got taken down, because when they did that, they manipulated it, right? They took advantage of being able to do so and gave traders worse conditions and, played around with slippage and whatnot. Now, why do prop firms then go through these brokers, right? What advantage is it? There's the sense of reliability, right? A lot of these brokers have been around for a while. They're well established. They're regulated, right? So that brings in that sense of comfort for the trader. And logistically speaking, it's probably much easier for them to do this, right? By outsourcing this instead of spending money and time creating their own technology to use what's already been established and work with this company instead of creating all of their own stuff, which they may potentially do in the future, right? And the same here for MetaQuotes, right? If they really and truly wanted, the prop firm could go out, get their licenses, create their own trading platform, but it's an extensive process, right? It wouldn't make sense for them to logistically do that every single time or at least for every single prop firm. Right? From the business perspective, it makes a lot of sense for them to, just use what's already established, people are already using. Now, a lot of you guys are probably familiar with this logo, right? MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5. Those two are probably the most common and popular trading apps for a lot of people around the globe, right? Widely available. And now, for the prop firm traders, it's become a lot harder to use them because essentially MetaQuotes, due to regulatory concerns, right, in the US, doesn't want to work with certain brokers. Therefore, certain brokers such as Think Markets are terminating their partnership with prop firms such as MyFundedFX and other prop firms that they're working with, right? It's not a black and white situation. It's not the exact same for all brokers. For example, we had Black Bull Markets, which work with funding pips, right? They were essentially told to drop their prop firm clients by MetaQuotes and the US clients specifically. Otherwise, all of their deals with MetaQuotes will get terminated, right? Their business together. So what did Black Bull do? They got rid of the prop firms. Bearing in mind, like I said to you guys, a lot of these brokers are already well established, right? Prop firms to them are only a small piece of their pie and income. So does it make sense for them to, stop working with MetaQuotes, the most widely used trading app in the world, to simply keep working with prop firms? No, it doesn't. Of course, they're going to stick with the bigger side, which brings them in more money and whatnot, right? So they've simply then decided to stop working with prop firms, specifically funding pips. I believe Blackpool Markets were with. I'm not sure if they were other prop firms. And right, due to that, what's happened is the prop firm traders are on the hard end of the stick, because now we have a lot of changes happening. It's interfering with the trading and whatnot. So let's get into that part. This was the logistics, right? We can go into a lot more detail. Hope I gave you guys the pointers, and you can go research some of this stuff on your own if you really want. There's a lot of articles and other videos out there as well that you can watch, right? But I just wanted to keep it fairly simplified to show you guys a relationship between the three and why things are happening this way, right? Now, what are the solutions to this problem? This is probably the most important part for the traders. We have, you guys have probably already seen by now, the first thing is alternative platforms, right? MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5, like I said, are probably the most popular apps around the globe, but they're not the only ones. There's plenty of trading apps, as you guys can see, especially CTrader. I believe it's been offered by FTMO for quite a while, and maybe a handful of other prop firms. And the newer one, we have DX Trades. There's another one I've seen called Match Trades. I haven't seen very good reviews of that so far, unfortunately, right? And what can happen here is, of course, MetaQuotes is unwilling to work with these brokers and prop firms, but these other apps at this moment in time are willing to do so. So now these prop firms are migrating over to these new apps and potentially using new brokers. Now, like you guys can see here, right, it's a chain. Some brokers are still fine in this chain. They're still working with the prop firms and working with MetaQuotes, such as Blueberry Markets, which is now being offered by MyFundedFX, and we might see it picked up by other prop firms as well, to allow traders to continue using MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5. Now, I just want to be really objective, right? It's not me giving you advice to essentially make your decision, but I have asked a lot of people about Blueberry Markets. I've asked for good and bad reviews, and overall, it wasn't looking very good, right? And the decision, I myself as a trader will come to, at least how we'll weigh it up, is if a broker has bad conditions, can I change that? No, right? But using an app, transferring over to, let's say DX Trades from MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, it may be difficult, but at the end of the day, it's just another app. You can get used to, you can get around it, right? That is something you can become proficient in. But with the issue of the actual broker and their conditions, their slippage spread, whatever it is, you have no hand in that. So would I rather stick with, for example, Think Markets, who have been very solid while I've used them, and simply have to go into a new app and get used to it? Or would I rather stick with MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, but be subject to worse trading conditions on a broker? Right? That's how I would simply weigh up that decision. It may not be the same for all of you. You may just want the accessibility of having the same app. You don't want to spend your time, faffing about learning your app. That makes perfect sense. So yeah, that is essentially what is being presented to a lot of traders. We're having migrations. Whichever prop firm you're with, what I would recommend is make sure you're active in the Discord / any of their social media, really, so you have a clear update on what's going on. For example, the reason I'm using MyFundedFX as a good example, as a lot of you guys know, I'm an affiliate for them. I like to keep up with what they're doing and whatnot. And they essentially sent out a form on the Discord allowing traders to pick between the two options. Would you rather go with Blueberry Markets and continue using MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5, or would you rather stay with Think Markets as a broker but switch over to DX Trades? And they're looking to offer CTrader very soon as well. And the last point I want to talk about here, right, is that they have mentioned that they are going for a MetaQuotes license again. Now, I'm sure that this is a long and expensive process, but in the grand scheme of things, for appealing to the majority of traders, it does make sense for a prop firm to do that. So now, hopefully, right, we can speculate what that will mean in the future is eventually they will get this license. It may take a bit of time, it may require some shifts, but eventually when they get that license, traders should be able to go back on MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5 as normal, right? I believe all parties here are sort of just fending for themselves. It's a very tense situation. It comes down to regulation, and what happened with MFF earlier last year has sort of just kicked everything off, right? And because of that, now everyone's in a bit of a panic. They're trying to make sure everything's airtight. They're not going to get in trouble down the line. They're not going to get fined and whatnot. And that's why we're seeing so many sudden changes. It's sort of like dominoes falling, right? And I would sort of get used to it. And I think one of the big reasons at least that I'm making this video is everyone that is a trader should have a good understanding of what's going on. You don't want all these changes happening and you're sort of unsure that's happening, but you don't know why or what it actually even means, right? So that's why it's important to be able to understand all of these at least at surface level, so you know what's happening with your money, whether you should make this decision, that decision, and what's going on overall, right? The last thing I will leave you guys with, unfortunately, when I upload this video, you only have today and tomorrow to use these discount codes with MyFundedFX. Because they migrated to the new platform, right, DXTrade, they are actually offering a 30% off code, right, which is a pretty big discount. You can use it on any of their challenges. I just wanted to mention that, right? I know I'm an affiliate for them and I will have that bias, but if you guys already use Think Markets, you know they have good conditions and you want to get a new account anytime soon, this is a great time to do it. All accounts are being migrated, so you're either going to have to switch brokers or you're going to have to switch the app. So if you are planning to switch the app and you want to get a new account, 30% off is not bad at all, right? So cool. I hope I've kept it short and sweet and explained the situation pretty well. These are all my socials. You guys can message me. If you have any other questions at all, feel free to drop them below or message me on the socials and I will make sure to get back to all of you.